From the endless steppes of Central Asia to the foundation of a modern republic, the story of the Turkish people spans over a millennium of empires, battles, migrations, and rebirths. It is a tale of resilience, culture, faith, and transformation. A journey from the Göktürks to the Republic of Turkey. Our journey begins in the 6th century. The Göktürk Empire was established in 552 AD, the first state to bear the name Turk. Originating in the Central Asian steppes, they united various Turkic tribes under one rule. With their iconic Orkun inscriptions, the Göktürks not only organized a powerful military state, but also gave the Turks their first written language. They controlled vast territories and formed trade networks along the Silk Road, connecting China to the west. Their society was nomadic, deeply connected to nature and horse culture, and their political system was centered around a Khan ruling with divine legitimacy. Though the empire fell in 744 due to internal divisions and pressures from the Chinese Tang dynasty, the concept of a united Turkish identity had been born. After the fall of the Göktürks, power passed to the Uyghur Khaganate, who ruled from 744 to 840. Unlike their predecessors, the Uyghurs embraced settled life. They built cities, practiced Buddhism and Manichaeism, and became known for their art, literature, and diplomacy. They traded with the Tang Chinese and acted as cultural mediators between East and West. Their adaptation to urban civilization left a lasting mark on Turkic culture. As the 9th century unfolded, a new chapter began. The Karakhanid dynasty, established in the 10th century, became the first major Turkic state to officially adopt Islam. Their acceptance of the new faith marked a monumental shift, not just religiously, but socially and politically. Islamic values, Arabic script, and Persian court culture started to merge with Turkic traditions. Following them, the Ghaznavids, under Sultan Mahmud of Ghazni, expanded Turkic Islamic influence deep into the Indian subcontinent. Their court, based in today's Afghanistan, became a hub of learning and poetry, blending Persian elegance with Turkish pragmatism. But the most influential dynasty of this era was yet to come. In the 11th century, the Seljuk Turks, originally a clan of the Oghuz Confederation, carved out a massive empire from Central Asia to the Mediterranean. The Great Seljuk Empire became the new center of Sunni Islam. Their crowning moment came in 1071 at the Battle of Manzikert, where Sultan Alp Arslan defeated the Byzantine army, opening the gates of Anatolia to large-scale Turkish settlement. From this moment forward, Anatolia, previously a Byzantine and Christian stronghold, began transforming into the Turkish heartland. The Seljuks didn't just conquer, they built madrasas, caravanserais, mosques, and laid the cultural and political foundation for future Turkish rule. However, with the arrival of the Mongols in the 13th century, the Seljuks fragmented and Anatolia splintered into dozens of small Turkish principalities known as the Beyliks. Among these Beyliks was one that would change history forever. In the early 14th century, a small frontier principality led by Osman Gazi began expanding near the Byzantine borders. This would become the Ottoman Empire. Over the next 6 centuries, the Ottomans grew from a humble beylik into one of the most powerful empires the world had ever seen. In 1453, under Mehmed the Conqueror, they captured Constantinople, ending the Byzantine Empire and transforming the city into Istanbul, the new capital of a vast, multicultural realm. At its height, under Suleiman the Magnificent, the Ottoman Empire stretched across 3 continents, from Hungary to Yemen, from Algiers to Baghdad. The empire was a mosaic of peoples, languages, and religions. Through the millet system, different religious communities were granted autonomy under their own leaders, creating a relatively tolerant, multi-faith society. The Ottomans excelled in architecture, science, literature, and governance. They built grand mosques like the Süleymaniye, organized a merit-based bureaucracy, and maintained vast trade networks. But empires, like all things, rise and fall. By the 17th century, internal corruption, military defeats, and the rise of European powers began to weaken Ottoman control. The once feared Janissary army became obsolete. Provinces grew unruly. And in the 19th century, nationalist movements among Greeks, Serbs, Arabs, and Armenians began to unravel the empire's fabric. To adapt, the Ottomans initiated major reforms. The Tanzimat, aimed at modernizing laws, education, and the military. The young Ottomans, and later the young Turks, pushed for constitutional government and equality. But modernization couldn't prevent disintegration. In the early 20th century, the empire lost the Balkans, Libya, and almost all of its Arab territories. In 1914, hoping to regain power, the Ottoman Empire entered World War I on the side of Germany. It was a fatal decision. By 1918, the Ottomans were defeated. The Allied powers occupied Istanbul and planned to divide Anatolia among themselves. Greece seized Izmir. France and Italy took the south. Even the heartland of the Turks was now at risk. But this was not the end. On May 19, 1919, a former Ottoman general named Mustafa Kemal landed in Samsun and began organizing resistance. With support from local militias, known as the Kuvayi Milliye, and the Anatolian people, he launched the Turkish War of Independence. The Grand National Assembly was founded in Ankara in 1920, asserting itself as the legitimate government of the Turkish nation. Over the next 3 years, Turkish forces fought back against the Greeks in the west, Armenians in the east, and French in the south. Major victories at Sakarya and Dumlupınar pushed the Greeks out. In 1922, the monarchy was abolished. In 1923, the Treaty of Lausanne was signed, recognizing the sovereignty of a new, independent Turkish state. On October 29, 1923, the Republic of Turkey was officially proclaimed. Its first president, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. What followed was a radical transformation. Atatürk introduced sweeping reforms. The caliphate was abolished. The Latin alphabet replaced Arabic script. Secular laws replaced Sharia courts. Education was modernized. Women gained the right to vote and be elected. A new national identity was born, modern, secular, and forward-looking. Atatürk's vision was clear: to create a sovereign, progressive, and unified nation rooted in reason and science, while still respecting the deep historical and cultural legacy of the Turkish people. From the Göktürks to the Republic, the Turkish journey is a saga of endurance, transformation, and rebirth. Through war and peace, empire and revolution, the Turks have preserved their language, identity, and spirit. Today, Turkey stands at the crossroads of East and West, ancient and modern, a living legacy of this epic history.